Hey everyone, in this video I want to go over the course overview page. This course overview page is something that you can find if you go to modules and then course overview. As I put on here, the course overview information is from the course syllabus, but there is one section here that's not in the syllabus, and I'll go over that in a second. First, let me go over the course layout. Modules contain relevant Canvas pages and links to assignments, discussions, lectures, and/or additional resources. New modules will be released the Sunday before the start of a new week. However, as my schedule allows, I might release these modules sooner. So you might find that you will have more modules than we have weeks so far. So that just depends on my schedule and how much stuff I want to make available to you at any given point in the semester. Now, this part right here about each module containing links to assignments and so on, well, let me show you what that looks like. So pay attention to your particular semester's course content as far as what you have within your modules. However, the concept is the same. Let's look at Module 2. So Module 2 contains, as I put on here, lots of different links to assignments, discussions, and so on. So you'll see that there's a module overview page, and then there's a read, watch, and do section. So read whatever it is I have assigned for you. And then depending on the class, you might have a module course materials page. And then depending on the class, you might have a list of videos that I provide for your convenience. And let me tell you or show you what I mean by that. So in this particular example, I collected all the videos that you would encounter in Module 2 if you were to go through the module overview page, the module course materials, and then the assignments. I put all of that here for your convenience. However, this should not be the only way that you access the videos. And then you have your graded activities. Number 2, use the tentative weekly schedule in the course syllabus as a general overview of weekly activities. Now, I say weekly, but really it could be that your modules, depending on the class, depending on the semester, they might be set up as 2 weeks, and then some modules might even be 3 or 4 weeks. So just pay attention to that. However, the due dates are subject to change, so refer to the details in Canvas, announcement emails, and the calendar. So I already talked about this in another video, so I won't go over this much more. Number 3, this is an asynchronous online course which allows you to access course materials, complete assignments, and participate on your own schedule while still adhering to deadlines set by the instructor. So this is not a self-paced course where you can submit your stuff whenever you want. There are due dates. However, like I put on here, you could access the course materials based on your preference, based on your schedule, but with deadlines in mind. All right, now that brings me to the next section, information that's not in the syllabus. So each new module will typically be available by Sunday. As my schedule allows, I may post things ahead of time. So that's kind of related to the concept that I talked about here. It just depends on just whatever I have going on, and also just what we have going on in class. So lots of different factors. However, I do like to post things ahead of time as much as possible, just because I know some students like to work ahead. Now, I should say though, right, that if you look at your course syllabus, you should have a general idea of what to expect throughout the semester by looking at the tentative course schedule. And then just so we are all on the same page, we are operating in the central time zone. So depending on the time of the year, that could be Central Daylight or that could be Central Standard. And then that brings me to the course learning objectives, so pay attention to the specifics in your course, and then pay attention to the specifics as far as required textbook and materials. And then lastly, there's your netiquette section. So these will be the standards that I will hold you to as you interact with me and your classmates.